Hey, what's going on? Social media friends and family, this is Arthur Chauncey Taylor. Putting the finishing touches on the final first chapter of Daily Pivotal Moments, God's Plan Never Fail. As an author, it's a pleasure to present you all with information that can be used to pretty much describe who I am as a person and or as an author. However, there's no argument that anyone can use to dispute the fact of how far you can go with the right information, right? To which we all know that we can go extremely far with the right information. And given a chance, it is provided to us by the right individuals. Today was a great day, Thursday, and this is actually my hump day, to which a lot of things going towards the end of the week gets pressurizing for me because that's when assignments are due. That's the end of the week when I got to pay bills and things of that nature. So in reference to being under pressure in regards to living life, sometimes I still get a little nervous, but at the same time, I know that I'll be able to do it. However, that's just a human function that I have in regards to being independent. I know it may sound strange. However, it's something that I think most of us are confronted with, but we don't confront it to other people in reference to being able to express the things that we feel while we go through what we go through throughout the cause of transitioning from being the person that we were to the person that we are today. But the focus isn't about me. This is about daily but pivotal moments, God's plan never failed, in regards to some things I've been through in my previous life. And I want to implement some relegated truth to the demands of what's required and necessary for the redirection of our younger generation in the right direction. So I'll finish up chapter 1 and we'll go into chapter 2 briefly tonight before I close out the video. So I hope everybody's having a great day. I hope everybody had a very prosperous day, and I hope everybody has taken the opportunity to assess themselves in the effort of becoming more accountable for your actions and your behavior, because you know that everyone else is watching. It's not about what you do in the presence of other people. It's about what you do when you're not in the presence of other people and you're not being scrutinized, or you're not being analyzed, or you're not being observed by other individuals who are expecting you to fall. And not so much as the ones who are expecting you to fall, but the ones who really look up to you and want to see you do more great things in their physical presence, so that they can adopt some of the things that you imitate in your day-to-day life, and they can some kind of way compartmentalize that phase of fundamental aspects into their lives as well. So so this is where I left off at on page 11 in chapter 1, and I'll start at the last paragraph. It says that poverty-stricken situations tend to create external problems, and that's true. When I was in poverty, I'm gonna use myself for an example. I took a lot of things personal because I thought, why are we in this predicament? Why do we live in this neighborhood? But you know what? God favored the family because of me. And I really believe that because of me, my other two sisters that's older than me, to which I'm the youngest child, and I have 4 sisters, but the 2 younger girls, they went to Catholic school because of me. Yeah. And they've been graduated school. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I was a troubled kid in the neighborhood. I stayed fighting and everything. And one day, one of the sisters called my mom in for a meeting. And they gave us free tuition. We didn't have to pay tuition. We went to a Catholic school, St. Philip the Apostle School, and didn't have to pay any tuition. Straight up. Straight the favor of God, man. We went there for like 2 years, and I think I flunked both years. And I wound up having a fight in school with the teacher and doing a science project. I was a smart kid, but I had a short attention span. And that caused me to be like a firecracker whenever someone did something that I didn't like or I didn't feel comfortable with. So, poverty-stricken situations could cause external problems, and that was the external problem. behavior. That's why I can tell you guys about it, because I know the symptoms, I know the reactions, I know the causes and the effects of behavior, characteristics, human and social services. Human behavior. I've imitated it, I've portrayed it, I've illustrated it, I've displayed it, I've lived it. The development of gang activity causes our youth to focus on each other, use drugs and alcohol consumption, leads to disruptive behavior, just like I just told you guys, towards parents, right? You become rebellious towards your parent because now you think you're grown, because you're overexerting the amount of testosterone that's being pumped in throughout your system. Now you feel as if you have an authoritative demeanor in regards to calling shots on your own life, and you don't even know which way to go. So you need guidance, man, and you have to listen. Okay, so you could be disruptive towards your parents, your siblings, and members of the community. So I was given a job when I got suspended from school. I was told to cut the grass on weekends, and guess what? I got paid $20 a day. So I got $40 over the weekend, and I was only probably about maybe, I want to say 10 years old. And that was a lot of money for a 10-year-old kid. And my mom didn't take none of it. She didn't take none of those $40 I made, man. She said, you know what, that's your money, you made it, spend it. Just don't spend it all in one place. And so teenage pregnancy, unplanned parenthood, early stages of adulthood without any experience of how to be fully responsible, basic education, welfare, and low-paying jobs. This is what we subject ourselves when we don't fully fulfill the recommendations of our parents by completing high school and furthering our education to college. We subject ourselves to the lowest of the low, and we get comfortable in that setting. Components of a failing system, redirecting the attention of our youth to live a criminal lifestyle. And 9 times out of 10, as the book get further on into the explanation of my life before prison, I lived the same life. And I won't expose everything. I'll give you guys increments as time goes forward. Age groups that are affected by higher rates of homicide range from 16 to 24. So this is the recidivism, and I broke it down inside of the book. Dangerous and alarming rate that can be reduced. Initiating an effort to go after our youth requires the demands of exercising a strict form of presence, right? So presence, once again, a strict form of presence. Not so much as being hard, doubling down on their behavior and their characteristics, no. Because now you have to kind of like massage your way into a child's life or a teenage individual's life now. You cannot be aggressive. You cannot be stern and too firm in your conversation. You have to be, in a sense, you have to be like almost convincing or persuasive in your speech, so to speak. All right. And you have to be there. Like when they want to talk or when they text you and call you, you have to answer that text or that call immediately because it may be an emergency. With intentions to restore order in urban communities. Promote the likes of positive conversation, just like I said. Capture the attention of a small group who need compassion from an older guy, who survived the struggle of being who I was to become who I am now. Giving back must become a valid priority regarding the importance of sons, brothers, nephews, and uncles. And I have a nephew, man. He just got locked up again today, man, for some that street stuff, that stuff, man. Listen, when I got the text message from another one of my nephews and my sister, you know what, man? I was depleted. I was drained. I said, God. And it hurts. It does, because it's my family. It's my nephew, man. This the little guy that said that he wanted to be like me when he grew up. He done pretty much everything that I did, and he's still doing it. Like, so I don't know. I don't know how to approach the situation right now because I'm still trying to find stability in my own life, but I will address it at some point in time. To illustrate the best version of an authentic man provides me the chance to do my job more effectively. So The books are right. It's predicated on what I've learned from my experience. And now I'm giving that experience back to you all in the form of information. As a father, author, mentor, and member of Human and Social Services, right? To which that's what I'm currently studying. So I kind of patterned this book along the lines of everything I'm accomplishing right now. Having those much needed conversations that most kids would enjoy, only if more men would take the time to conduct them. Don't ignore the little guys, man. Don't ignore the young ladies. Don't ignore the younger generation, because they're really crying out for help and they need it. They really want to learn and they want to change. They want to find out a better way, but we have to take the time to address how they could find their way in life. They don't know. They don't know, man. You know, so I'm willing to do that. I just got accepted into a mentorship program, man. So, like, you know, it's only up from here. This is certainly the main ingredient to help access prevention in urban communities. Infested with detrimental behavior that manifests pain and anguish, defined in the term of genocide. It's almost as if we then turn on each other. You know, it's almost like having a pit bull for a pet, and now this dog done bit you, the same dog you fed since he was a pup. And also the community as well. As a new wave of black culture. It's almost like a new religion, man. Like, you know, like if we the only race that have a derogatory sense of degrading each other, right? And we have a deadly passion to kill one another when we feel violated by each other. And I think that's something that needs to be reconstructed as well. Precious souls are being volunteered to the release of an enigma, puzzling to the mind of typical people downright environmental conditions of torture. Downright environmental issues of torture. Yep. Many are the affiliations of the wicked, but the righteous will be delivered. Wicked souls contribute to the cause of a person being corrupted from within. So these things are internal. It's something that young man or that young lady went through that they never told anyone else. And you know what, man? My daughter told me stuff that she never told her mom before. She told me. Listen, when people tell me stuff, it don't go past me. It don't go past me. It stops right here. And you better believe if it's something about someone else, I'm going to be the one to address it. I guarantee. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but guess what? At some point in time, Chauncey Taylor going to address it. Author Chauncey Taylor is going to address it. Yeah, I'm going to address it. Professionally. To which I already have. And I thank God for allowing me to do so. Seditious behavior is an internal corruption that defiles the very essence of any man or woman completely. Descriptions of being affiliated consist of all sorts of dysfunctional circumstances portrayed towards the mind that eventually destroys the body. Distorting spiritual intent and obligation of service ordained by God. So this kind of like confuses or disrupts the process that God's plan for your life is being destroyed when you choose to engage in other activity, right? Wicked souls have been reported to carry out treacherous acts of rebellion, revealing themselves through formatively strategic supernatural influence in human bodies, evil presentations, and unpleasant moments. Ancient characteristics of our enemy's craftiness, which is the devil, the enemy, Satan, extend beyond the confines of limitation, and he'll go to any length to destroy our younger generation because that's the future. He don't want us to reproduce. He don't want us to reproduce, and he don't want us to come together. So, death and division. This is how he's trying to kill us, right? Consuming the average person who does not activate the extension or the exertion of God's authority, clarifying the affiliations or the afflictions of a wicked person, I hope has enlightened the eyes of your understanding. Basically what I just said was hoping that something that I mentioned throughout the course of this book open the eyes of your understanding. What's the eyes of your understanding? Your conscious mind. Your conscious mind, not your subconscious mind, because that's what you use when you sleep. That's what allows you to dream. but your conscious mind is when you're awake. You know, being conscious is having a spiritual wake up, and you can see beyond the physical essence of a person, right? Beyond the scope of a physical image. All right, so to something greater than what is inside the tale of a comic book or video game. And a lot of kids are delusional, you know, with these video games, these Call of Duty and all this other stuff. Crazy. Not a bone of righteous that will be broken. Follow God's instructions and you will prosper even as your soul prospers. Wicked is displayed when one is drawn away from his or her original calling. You know, your original calling is actually how your parents initially raised you from a child. So whatever that was, put aside your differences and kind of like allow whatever has happened over the course of your life from a child to the age you are now to subside. And approach your parent, whether it's your mother or your father or maybe even both of them. Call them into a counseling session. And families could counsel each other. You know, it's a pecking order. I mean, sometimes you have the oldest kid, sometimes it's the youngest kid, sometimes it's the middle kid that has authority in the home that could demand the presence of the mother and the father to pay attention to what they have to say. You know, and parents, you know your kids. You know which one of your kids is strong. You know which one of your kids is ambitious, motivated. You know which one of your kids are frivolous, a little weak. You know, and some of them, you know which ones are scary and have fear about jumping off the porch or getting out there in the world and actually trying to make it on their own. So, you know, this is something that can be resolved inside the home. And my job as a human and social service member and a practitioner of, you know, litigation in the sense of reconstruction and recalibrating the mindset, this is my advice to you all. Take the time to sit down with your kids. It doesn't matter what you have going on in your personal life. Listen to your kid. Let them express themselves. And once you allow them to express themselves, you elaborate on what it is that they were able to tell you. And you know, my thing is this. If they're not asking for advice, it may not be good to offer your advice. Cater to their needs. Because whatever they tell you, that's what they want to, that's what they would like for you to address. Basically, not pushing your agenda of what you want or your expectations of what you want from that child, right? Because, you know, you don't want to annihilate that friendship or that relationship that you have as a mother and daughter, father and daughter, mother and son, father and son situation. So I learned that in my relationship with my daughter. You know what I'm saying? I don't cross the boundaries with her. She don't cross the boundaries with me. And if she has a problem with something that I do, she distances herself. She may not talk. She may not text. She may not call. You know, but I have had times when my daughter has reached out to me and had the conversation that she wanted to have, or she may text me a long text and tell me about something that she disagrees with. So this is the signs that we have to pay attention to when it comes to our offspring. Listen and you'll learn. And once you learn, you'll know how to lead. Thank you all for listening. My name is Arthur Chauncey Taylor. If you haven't had a chance to get any of the books I have on Amazon, please do so today. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. I'm in chapter 2 next time I start. Daily but pivotal moments. Get your copy so you can keep up. God's plan never fails. Enjoy your night.